Hello and welcome to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whisky blog. I'm Andy and this is Whisky Review 111. What I have for you today is a single malt whisky. It is not, however, a single malt Scotch whisky. It comes from a country that is much hotter than Scotland. It's also a country that you would not necessarily associate with whisky production. That whisky is this, the Paul John Brilliance from Paul John Distillery in India. So there's the tube, 46% Paul John. Paul John Distillery is located in Goa. It is so named because it's named after its chairman. And why wouldn't you if you were the chairman of a whisky distillery? So here's the bottle, guys. Again, pretty much the same information as the tube, but a really nice bottle shape there. Natural colour, 46%, and on the back of the bottle as well, if autofocus kicks in, you'll see there no artificial colour as well. Happy days, guys, happy days. So, Paul John Brilliance, an Indian single malt whisky. It is produced using Indian barley. It is a common misconception in some cases that they import, should I say, barley from Scotland to make whisky in India. That's not the case. It's absolutely not the case. You can find a hell of a lot of Indian barley over there. There's a massive amount of agriculture in India. And why wouldn't they use their own barley if they've got it? So there you are, Indian barley. It is matured in ex-bourbon barrels. Now, India, as you can imagine, is just that little bit warmer than Scotland. And as a result, you have a couple of different variations compared to their Scottish compatriots. So basically, what you end up getting with warmer climates, and this has been seen in other distilleries as well that I've reviewed in the past, such as Cavalan. A warmer climate will result in a faster maturing whisky. And when I say faster maturing whisky, I don't mean that all of a sudden it's 12 years old after 6 months. That's not the case at all. But the characteristics of that whisky will be much more mature in themselves than, say, an equivalent whisky matured in Scotland. If you took Paul John Spirit, for example, and stuck it in a standard Scottish whisky warehouse or a bonded warehouse somewhere, they would come out completely different. So if you put that new make spirit in a barrel, stuck it in the Paul John warehouse, and then you took the same spirit, same run, stuck it in a similar barrel, took that to Scotland, they would come out completely different. They would share some characteristics, but if you said, like, right, 6 years is the cut-off, and you bottled them both at 6 years, they would be completely different. The angel share in India is also going to be a lot more. I think it's something between 12 and 13%. Now that's a hell of a lot more than in Scotland. In Scotland you're looking at single digits, and I'm not talking the high single digits, I'm talking 5% in some cases. So there's the colour for you there. Again, with all whisky, varying shades of gold, but knowing its natural colour, a nice kind of like little burnish gold there. In terms of legs down the glass, I mean, yeah, there were a couple that went quite quickly. Somebody actually commented the other week on another review to ask if legs were important. I mean, it's not that they're important, but for me it gives a bit of an indication as to the sort of like thickness and viscosity of the spirit, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that's the case. Now, on the nose. Oh, it's a lovely nose, it really is. It's spicy, it's incredibly fruity, there's so much exotic fruit in here. I'm getting mango, I'm getting pineapple, I'm then getting cinnamon, I'm getting incense. Like, my wife goes through God knows how much incense. She goes through it like there's no tomorrow. And it always reminds me of those incense sticks when I smell this whiskey. Again, the exotic fruits are there, the spice, there's a little bit of a salty element as well. I don't know if you've ever done this, guys, but have you ever made Play-Doh at home? Modelling clay and things like that. You can make it from like flour and salt or something. It reminds me of that a little bit on the back. Cola cubes. And a little bit of coffee. Now this retails for around £40. Alright, which admittedly you could say straight away, well, I can buy a Scotch for that. Well, you can, but you can also buy a bourbon for that. You can buy an English whiskey for £40, but they all offer something completely different. And it's worth noting that, you know, I mean, I've had Paul Johns, I've had Amruts. Indian whiskey distilleries are not trying to be Scotch whiskey, just like English whiskey distilleries aren't trying to be Scotch whiskey, just like Welsh whiskey distilleries aren't trying to be Scotch whiskey. They are utilising the environment around them, the craft at their disposal, the ingredients in their local areas to create and forge their own characteristic and their own spirit style. And already this is exactly what they've done with Paul John Brilliance. Now, I said already this retails for around 40 quid, or between 35 and 40 quid. They have actually recently released basically a new entry-level bottling that kind of supersedes this one, Nirvana, and that's bottled at 40%. I've not tried it, apparently it's quite good, so I'm hoping to pick one of those up at some point. But I mean, the Paul John range, before I go on to the palate, the Paul John range is incredibly varied. They also have peated whiskies. They have a very, very popular and well-renowned series of single cask releases as well. Just before we go on to the palate there, as well as that incense, the spices, the exotic fruits that I mentioned before, there's a really nice kind of toffee, more butterscotch kind of note on there. On the palate, good mouthfeel. Again, it's incredibly fruit forward. Incredibly fruit forward. I've already said pineapple on the nose, but I'm going to say it again. I've already said mango on the nose. I'm going to say it again. Incredibly fresh fruits though. Very juicy fruits. I'm getting fruit salad. There's more spice going into the finish. It's not overly woody. It's not overly oaked. It's just a really nice, fresh, spicy, fruity flavour on that palate. You've got some kind of biscuity notes on there, like digestive biscuits. For me, I'm not personally getting much vanilla, if any. I'm really just taken aback by the fruitiness of it, the spices, the cinnamon, the nutmeg. Again, you've kind of got that digestive biscuit note which offsets it a little bit, adds another dimension to it. I'm getting a little bit of chocolate into the finish, arguably a little bit of coffee, which I got on the nose as well. And again, really nice mouthfeel. Lovely dram. Really is a lovely, lovely dram. This is one of those whiskies, if you put that into a mystery lineup, so blind drams, I don't think people would be able to tell you where it's from or where it was made. B, I think they would probably guess that it costs more than it does. This is fantastic value for money. And C, I think once you told them, they'd go and buy one. I love it. It's really, really nice. Really, really nice. And honestly guys, if you've not checked out Paul John already, I really would recommend it. If you're looking for something a little bit different, not that you're getting bored of Scotch whisky, because I don't think that's possible, but if you just want to try something a bit different, something from warmer climes, maybe just a distillery that you've not experienced before, well, why not go a bit further afield? And this is a perfect place to start. Really, really lovely dram. Kudos to the guys at Paul John. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you soon.